And now, to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
All right, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I was just stalling for Scotty.
Oh.
Happy Devil
that's good.
Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Season 5, Episode 41, titled New Jersey Devils Roster Almost Set. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Shorts Guy and Beer Baron. Scotty joining us a little bit later, hopefully. As we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, Twitch, and now on Twitter Space on the Let's Go Devils Network. Hello, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
Hello, Sam. So, Sam, I have a question for you. Am I a guest on my own podcast again this week? Or am I actually back as a full member of the cast here? Like, what's the deal for me this week?
Wait, what happened?
Last week, it was just Sammy and I, and he was thanking me for being a guest on the podcast. No.
Because Beer Baron and Scotty were suspended.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. So I was the fill-in guest host of my own podcast.
The E-Bub. I wanted to have the E-Bub alert. You know that.
Oh, got it.
Yes. So Beer Baron, apparently, if I miss a couple weeks, I get bumped down to temporary host. Thanks to Sammy.
You got demoted.
Yeah, I got demoted. Yeah, maybe at some point I'll be a full-fledged host again. But I guess that's up to the almighty Sam.
You want to be a shock jock?
We could be. We definitely could. Oh,
yeah, buddy. I mean, that's what happens. Sam just kind of he gets lost in his own world, and all of a sudden, we're suspended for no reason, and you're now a guest on the show. He's got too much power. Too much power going to his head.
Mateo writes, glad to see Beer Baron back from suspension on the YouTube live.
I think it's because what did I do? I said someone was a moron or something like that, and then I got yelled at.
You were
and then
being sarcastic. You were being
I was being
sarcastic.
I'm always
You
sarcastic.
were trying to mimic somebody that's being a cyber bully.
Oh,
We were talking about and all that. So you were kind of mimicking, but the way it came across to a couple, and I'm not going to name names, a couple YouTube live viewers that you were being the bully, but it was complete sarcasm. And, and you and Scotty were shock jocks, so I decided to suspend you guys.
Well, you know what? If I did offend anybody, of course I apologize. It's never my intention. So yeah,
of course not. Of course not.
Also, I will say this. All right, so I had before we get into the actual, I have a really good question for everybody out there because I was driving my sister and my brother-in-law to the airport today, and their baby, and I was. I drop them off, and I'm on my way back, and I'm passing beautiful Newark, and I can see the arena, and I'm getting all pumped up and thinking about the season to come. And we were looking at New Jersey Devils roster almost set. Yeah, it could be set. There's a couple holes that they could fill. A couple guys that need to show something during training camp. I wonder if they're going to do any PTOs. But anyways, before we get into that conversation, I thought about this. I was like, what if the Devils either A, didn't exist, or B, didn't get relocated, just folded as a franchise? What team, if you wanted to continue to root for the NHL, or if they never existed, if you were still a hockey fan, what team would you be a fan of? So on Twitter, on Facebook, on Twitter Space, everywhere, on YouTube Live, if you couldn't be a fan of the Devils, if the Devils just ceased to exist, just because out of curiosity, who would be your second team? Because I know mine's the Chicago Blackhawks, but that's mainly because of NHL 92 on the old Sega Genesis. So that was where my affinity for the Blackhawks is my West Coast team. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. What about you, Shorts Guy? If the Devils were not around, and you can't be biased and be like, I wouldn't watch hockey, who would your team be?
I'm not being biased because it was going to a Devils game that got me into playing hockey and just hockey in general. So without access to the Devils here, the truthful answer might be I don't know if I would be a hockey fan because my parents weren't.
All right.
My mom has told me that she hated goalie masks. There's just something about it that bugged her out about the goalie masks. And my parents were not hockey people. I mean, there's a potential that I maybe would have been more than likely, I hate to admit it, but a Ranger fan because they're the local team.
Just location.
Yeah, my grandmother was a Ranger fan from the original 6 days, and my dad remembers listening to the games on the radio back in the 50s. Yeah. So more than likely, if I did get into hockey, I probably would be a Ranger fan because of location. But it's a chance that the Devils don't exist. I'm not a hockey player. I'm not into the sport. I don't know if I'd follow it. That's pretty much it.
Not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, and I mean, having family ties, being in the area, either the Islanders being hot when we were born in the 80s, like we were both born in 1982, so the Islanders being a big team in the 80s could have led us to being Islander fans. Rangers because of location. Yeah. But it's fun to think about like other teams that you would just end up rooting for that are outside of this area. Like if you were one of those people, I love bumping into somebody and they're like, I'm a Canucks fan. And I'm like, oh, cool. What are you from, Vancouver? They're like, no, I'm from like Manasquan. And you're like, how the hell are you a Canucks fan? They're like, I don't know. I have a twin brother and I like the Twins and the Sedins are really neat to me or something like, like something really obscure. Yeah. But I'm like, I always think of these like weird questions when I'm driving alone, mainly because my radio is broken. So It's like either listen to silence or listen to the crazy thoughts in my head. But
I'd probably want to listen to silence at that point.
Because I also think about this too. I'm like, I always think about, and we've had this conversation before, like where if they didn't build the arena in Newark, because you know how the Harrison Blitzer are building a brand new arena in the center of Philadelphia for the 76ers, supposedly, right? I think that's going through. And my brain also wandered into what if we were still in Continental and the Devils never had gotten a new arena in Newark, and we have these new owners, and let's say they wanted to do something similar, where would they put the new arena? Because I don't know if Newark would have been their first choice, but I wonder if you go all the way down as far as Atlantic City, that would suck. That would suck for everybody up north.
No, I don't think you go as far as Atlantic City.
Or like
New Brunswick.
You couldn't.
I was just thinking
New Brunswick is not big enough.
I was thinking New Brunswick though, but it's centrally located in the state. Plus, you got Rutgers there.
Hey, somebody just said that's so weird on YouTube Live. Super Dave just said the same exact thing that you said as soon as you said it. He said New Brunswick centrally located for the entire state.
Yeah, it is. It is, and New Brunswick would probably have been a pretty decent location. I know our buddy Durango Steve would love that if they were in New Brunswick.
I put in Bedminster.
Why Bedminster?
Is that a real comment, or are you just?
No, I'm thinking like trains as well. Because you got 287, 287, 78, that intersection, trying to get people there. I don't know.
Well,
I'm just making stuff up.
You could do Somerville, but you need a town that could have the infrastructure to support an arena, but
yeah,
I don't know. I just think about that.
Jersey City could potentially be a spot too.
Yeah, that'd be a pain to
Jersey
get
City,
to.
Hoboken, Hoboken. If you think about location, Hoboken would be great, but there's no way in hell that would work. Like the infrastructure of the roads and the rail system going into that town. Talk about a nightmare getting in and out of. Like you'd be like, oh, the stadium's so cool, but never get out of it.
Jersey City would be the same way. I mean, it seems like a location that you would, off the top of your head, go, okay, well, let's think of the big cities in the state, and it's Newark and Newark, Jersey.
How about
City,
Secaucus?
Trenton,
Camden. I mean, Camden would be way too far south.
Yeah.
It's.
It's not like we're Wisconsin, so we can't just be like, just put it out in Green Bay. People will still go there. They'll like it. We'll let the town own the team. It'll be okay.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Scotty's waiting in the green room.
Oh, is he a guest?
Should we let him on?
Oh,
yeah.
is this
Let's
our
welcome
new
a
guest host?
special guest.
Fresh off of his shock jock suspension, Scotty of Sirius XM Liquid Metal.
Yeah,
there we go. Sorry for the technical difficulties there, fellas.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Apologize about that.
You better get that locked in, man. We got a fantasy football draft coming up in like 2 weeks. You better not have any.
I know. I know. So if anyone questions whether we're actually live or not, we're really live,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my laptop is to prove it.
And a barking dog too.
Yeah, and Winston.
The barking dog, Winston. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, it is. I ran the latest update, and now all of a sudden my computer doesn't want to work anytime. It's like I have to restart it every single time. It goes into sleep mode and stuff like that. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
How you fellas doing?
Good, bro.
Talking about
Yo, by the way,
Hoboken, Jersey City? I got on there right when you were talking about Hoboken and Jersey City.
No, just talking about because this all stemmed from I was driving past the arena today, coming from the Newark airport, and I was like, if they didn't put the arena in Newark, well, my first question is if you weren't a Devils fan, if the Devils didn't exist, or if they got folded, who would you root for? And then we moved on to where would they put the arena if they didn't put it in Newark? Like if Harrison Blitzer, because they're building that really grandiose place in the center of Philadelphia. And if they had the intention of doing that in New Jersey, where would some other places be? that would be a cool spot for.
I think JC and Hoboken would be good. I mean, there's lots of trains, there's lots of buses and stuff like that. I mean, I wouldn't want to drive myself into there, but public transportation wise, with the path and stuff like that, I think you could work it because you could take the train in Newark and then hop on the path over. Much like going to a Mets game or a Yankees game, you're gonna get on the 7 train. What's the one at Yankee Stadium? I can't remember which one it is.
The D.
The D, right? Yeah.
The D.
So I mean,
Stadium,
listen, it wouldn't be perfect, that's for sure. No. But even the traffic around Newark isn't that perfect either. It's like one way to get in there off of off of the highways and stuff. So I don't think it would be that bad because McMullen wanted it in the old Hoboken, the old rail yards over there. Wasn't that his dream to have the arena over there?
Yeah, we were I remember a couple of months ago we were looking at those old renderings of what it could have been.
Yeah, that would have been kind of cool. That would have been pretty cool.
That really would have been kind of cool, yeah. I mean, Hoboken
on the outside, it would have been like a cool rustic building, and then the inside, you have like a modern arena.
Yeah, it would have to be close to those path trains, though. Like to be able to like handle the amount of traffic coming in and out. I don't think it could be on the what I used to call the adult side of Hoboken. It would have to be on like the college side of Hoboken, where the path trains are, so you can really like handle that amount of people coming in and out. Because everything else would be on like Jersey Transit buses. And as someone who spent like 13 years on those Jersey Transit buses, trust me, they are not very reliable getting in and out over there. So I'd rather be taking that path if I could, or maybe actually having a line, a New Jersey Transit line straight into Hoboken. That'd be great too.
This podcast is clearly not brought to you by Amtrak or Transit or any of the power companies around here. Not JCP&L. Nope, none of that stuff.
Definitely not Spectrum Los Angeles either. Let me tell you, because there's nothing worse than the friggin' Spectrum internet out here, man. I miss the old Vios days being in Jersey. Woo! That was like lightning compared to Spectrum out here.
Yeah, well,
but I don't know. Like, it would be a nightmare with traffic, but I mean, everywhere is a nightmare with traffic. I feel like, when you got a game going on,
especially when
they're
winning.
Giant Stadium.
When they're winning.
But that was the thing too. Like
you get hit with traffic
good old
there,
16W. That was always great because the amount of wins to get the cup. But
exactly.
There was a picture today of the Baltimore Orioles of Camden Yards, and they were talking about, look at how full Camden Yards is. And I'm like, yeah, because they're 2 games out of a wild card spot. When a team starts to win, the fans
first time in 20
out.
Years. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that it doesn't matter how long you're terrible for, as long as you start winning, your fans will start coming back. And I mean, the Rock isn't necessarily empty. It still has like a good amount of people showing up, but if we could start winning again, it will be a hell of a lot more fun to go to a Devils Rangers game. That's for sure.
Yeah, because hopefully it'll be more red and black than blue and white.
Oh my god!
Blue and red, whatever. Yeah,
that's what we
especially
always want.
when they score.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
were we talking about New Brunswick as well? I've seen some of the comments over here.
Yeah, we were.
New Brunswick that'd be an interesting spot over there, right? Central Jersey. I know, like Short Sky, you were just saying Camden and that's way too south. That's like Flyers country.
Well, I'm just
I don't think
what I was. The reason why I brought up Camden and Trenton is just thinking of the big cities within the state. And those are pretty much it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Camden would not be, anywhere to go for this.
New Brunswick could be interesting though, because that's a big hub with the trade with going right through there. I don't know where you would be able to build it in there, but that would be an interesting spot.
I know a bunch of places you could rip down to put it there, but this podcast is also not brought to you by the lovely town of New Brunswick.
Yeah. The New Brunswick redevelopment.
Just burning bridges everywhere we go.
I mean, if you had it over by the Rutgers football stadium, it would look nice, but there'd be no public transportation to get to it. That's a nice like area over there, but
that's a nightmare. That town's a nightmare to get in and out of too.
No,
I mean, like hit traffic.
To get to that stadium, there's nothing.
Oh, Easton Ave would 10 times. Oh man, I wouldn't even want to imagine that.
Dude,
like trying to get into the heart of New Brunswick down Easton Ave with a game going on. Never happened.
I used to work at the Stress Factory Comedy Club, right? and the worst time of year was graduation time because it was almost you had to make sure you got on Easton Avenue at the perfect time because if you didn't, you were absolutely screwed. And you would sit in traffic and you would just sit there. You don't. It's not like you're like inching forward. You just sit there. You're like put your car in park and you're done. So I can imagine what it'd be like. But that's the thing is what we were saying before. Like at least
I want to say that's every road in LA. By the way, that's every road. Right here.
Oh God,
every road.
Yeah,
and then imagine California drivers as well on top of it. Oh, it's such a. I am like the angriest man in the world when I drive anywhere around here. I'm like, turn on red. You can turn on red. You don't have to wait for the light to turn green. Oh.
So John on the YouTube channel just said he's never been to Jersey to see a Devils game. I always go to Hawks games to see them. And we're not really doing a good job of selling.
Chicago.
We're not doing a good job of selling.
But
let me tell you what, John,
the Madhouse.
It is worth coming home. It is worth going to the Rock. Opening night is going to be amazing because opening night the vibe in the place is always great. They always have like a big sellout crowd. It's a lot of full of hope. The bars outside of the arena are awesome. Like you get down to a couple of those.
Nice.
If the weather's nice, that's the best part. And getting into
Getting into.
I was just reading something else. Getting into I don't know. Getting into Newark is not bad, especially jump on a train, easy peasy. You can coast
super
right
convenient.
in.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, trust me.
Driving can be tricky, but on the train is great. I mean, how many games as we go together? I would never drive in. I would always take the train once they move to Newark. You know?
Yeah. See,
I don't know. I think
the train is
great.
not. So the train is nice, but it's not convenient for everyone. It's not convenient for me. For me to take the train to a Devils game, it actually takes me more time to go there and back because I have to get I have to drive at least. For me to get from my house down to Newark is just slightly over an hour 5 minutes. If I were to take a train, I would have probably the closest train that I can get would be Dover, which is like 35 minutes. And then that's like another 40-minute train ride or whatever from Dover, maybe a little less than that. But I have to transfer, or I could drive 50 minutes to Morristown, hop on the train from there. So the train has never been convenient for me to go. For me, it's always it's driving no matter what I do because it's a more direct. That's even taking a train into the city if I want to go to a show or whatever. But
and the other
I wish the train was more. I really wish the train was more convenient, but for me, the train is just it's out of the question.
I hate trains.
I love the train. I love the train for different reasons. Yeah, I love the train because for one. Like getting on a train, going to the game, like I could sit down, I can relax. I'm not battling traffic. I like love the fact that like there's been a few times where I'm getting off of work and I just jump on a train, just close your eyes for like 15, 20 minutes and like take a little power nap before the game. I'm at that age now where I have to do things like that. But I mean, like honestly,
I was working in the city, so for me it was super super convenient. I just
for sure.
Yeah, I just get on the train and go right in. So it was super, super convenient for me. And where I lived growing up, I had the Raritan Valley line there. Me and Beer Baron had the Raritan Valley line right next to us. So it was really easy for us to just hop
convenient. Right and you go to the bar right across the street and just have a couple beers and walk over, jump on the train.
Oh, yeah. Have a couple beers. So buy 224s and like chug them like when you're on the train going there, or just a flat out
224s, a couple airplane bottles. Yeah,
like that.
But dude,
that's exactly what we did on that shuttle bus from the Giant Stadium parking lot over to the Meadowlands. You got on that bus with 2 beers and you chugged them as fast as you can on that whatever it was 5-minute ride over across.
Oh yeah, I'd be like Penn Station. Give me 2 24s. What do you got? Miller, Corona? I don't really care. Just give them to me. I need 2 of the big boys. I'm going to the Devils game.
I need a bag. I need a bag.
I need the brown bag. I need a pregame before I get there.
Oh my god.
Which
The little airplane shooters on a train, but that's also like, this goes back to when a team is winning and you're having way more fun. Like, going to games is still fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, now, you have even games that they were losing. It's still fun to go to a game. Let's be real. Like, if you love the team, if you love hockey, just going to a game in person, there's nothing better. Absolutely nothing better. Unless they're losing to the Rangers and it's like 85% Ranger fans, then it's not as much fun.
Yeah.
But
well, we want
there's people that are saying like driving in is easy, taking a train is easy. I think like just getting to where they put it in Newark. I'm not complaining that it's in Newark. I actually do like where the stadium is, and I actually like the stadium a lot. Just out of curiosity of like where other places would be to put it. But one thing I do have to say about opening night, last year they handed out these little wristband things that, like, when you're there, they like light up and they do the whole opening, and it's so freaking cool, and like the whole environment's really fun, and it just like, you get that like Shorts Guy said, that feeling of hope, and it's just like it's just so pumped up. That's awesome. But playoff hockey is a completely different beast, because if you haven't been to a playoff game, and if you haven't been to the Rock in a playoff game, which a lot of us haven't done that in a long time, but
2016.
Oh man. Like, once they have the pump up video or whatever they're doing, and then like everybody's going nuts and the whole crowd is like amped up, like that environment, especially in the Rock, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. No, I love playoff hockey. I mean, who doesn't, obviously, but playoff hockey just in general it's just a whole other world.
It's a whole beast,
every single shift, it really counts. There'll be times where in the regular season you're like, you know what, that period will come back, see what happens. It's a bad game. Just pack it in, and we got a road trip. Let's try to focus on. Every single second counts in playoff hockey, and we've seen so many with our team and with some other team. I think it was Pittsburgh and Philly. Didn't they have the 5 overtime game? There was a number of years ago, but didn't they go into 5 overtimes one time? We've had a couple of triple overtimes. We've been on the losing end of some of those as well. The Sabres won, the Dallas Stars in the Cup Finals. So every single shift counts in those playoff hockey games, and it's a grind like none other. And I'm excited to hopefully, be a team that's at least in contention to get a playoff spot this year. I think they have the roster, which Sam Wu is put down over here, is almost set. We see our headline. We've kind of gone off the rails already from what the show is supposed to be like, I guess. We're talking about future and former arenas and stuff like that. But, with Miles Wood being signed, with Jesper Bratt being signed, Vanacek, being signed, Tice Thompson. We got McGill now as a great associate coach, not assistant, associate coach. That did wonders.
I still don't understand that.
Did wonders in Vegas, though, with a lot of the young defensemen that were there and helped groom them. And hopefully he'll be doing the exact same thing here with a bunch of young defensemen that we got now. And there'll be some big decisions to be made. Damon Severson, Ryan Graves. I was talking the other day on Devils After Dark. I wouldn't want to lose both of them. But you start looking at the amount of people that we have. I mean, it might be acceptable by the end of this. They might be trade deadline, moves right there, when you have some other, stud prospects that are ready to really officially move up and take over full time, not just a little cup of coffee, 5 games up and then going back down. The Hoytuks, the Balls, the Walshes. Don't be shocked if Nemec, he wows us all. I would not be surprised in that kid. And Luke Hughes is lingering. He's got another year there at Michigan, but after that, Luke. He's coming. He's coming, baby.
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at something completely unrelated. I'm just thinking like you kind of nailed it or hit on something right there. The trade deadline is going to be interesting. Hopefully the team's in it, and hopefully that the team is in a position where they're in a, we're going to add to the team and make it better and go for a run at it. Somebody in the in the comments,
that salary cap is remember when we had all that?
Yeah, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about that because there's a lot of contracts coming off the books next year. Somebody just said
Janssen,
is Zach
Bernier.
Yes. Somebody just asked, is Zach Aston Reese going to be the a late offseason addition? Not unless they move. They need to move
someone else.
A couple of pieces to make that happen.
Or move Bernier to the long-term injured reserve.
Yeah.
But even that you're not really freeing up a lot. You're not really freeing up a lot.
What's he got? He's about $4 million? Yeah, he's 4.1.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man.
They should do that
and
anyway.
Then he's a UFA. Damon's a UFA. Ryan Graves is a UFA. We got a lot of space to come off afterwards. And because we're gonna, we also have a lot of kids that are gonna be coming up. They're gonna be on those entry level contracts that we're gonna hopefully take advantage of, and hopefully they'll be able to just not have that huge learning curve by giving them this extra time down there in the AHL with some really good coaches in Kevin Dineen and Sarge, old Sergei Brelin there. So hopefully they will be ready to just take that transitional step and move up without as much of a learning curve, to go along with it. We know there will be some, but hopefully these kids will be ready to take that step and not look like they're out of place. Kind of like how they did last year when they did some of them coming up for a little bit there, like the Nolan Foots, even Kevin Ball, Holtz, he looked a little lost. The game looked a little too fast for him just yet. But Chase Stillman has put on, I don't know, about 95 pounds of muscle, I've heard, and wants to beat the hell out of everybody. So, looking forward to that. And we did lose some. We lost some guys, but I don't think we really lost anyone to is anyone really getting upset? Like AJ Greer, are you really getting upset about that? Studenich, okay, he was a good prospect and we couldn't get him back through the waivers, but is that the end of the world? Nah, I don't think so. Kuokkanen signed over in the Swiss League. Nick Merkley went to the KHL. There's only I think Greer's the only one that's got an NHL contract. Studenich is on a 2-way down there in Dallas. And Greer's, he's not going to be more than a fourth liner. He's not going to be all of a sudden you got this second line winger out there, So I don't know. I'm not too upset about it.
No, it's we haven't lost anyone like I completely agree with you. We haven't lost anyone that's going to be breaking this team apart by not having them. And we've made some upgrades. We didn't get saddled with any massive contracts in free agency. I know everyone would have loved Johnny Gaudreau to be here, but I think that would have handicapped us. I think we're slowly kind of piecing. I want to say we're piecing together a solid team and bringing in a coach that's more defensive minded, with the young core defensemen that need to be coached properly, which was our biggest glaring issue last year, and signing
and Burnett as well. Don't forget about Burnett as well.
Burnett, and bringing in a solid goaltender. I think we're improving defensively, and I think we've done a lot to improve defensively, not just player wise, but coaching wise. So with all hope that's going to help our defensive woes. And, get us to that point, because I think I said a bunch of times, the scoring was there. We just couldn't keep the pucks out of the net.
Oh, yeah.
I think if Bernier's not going to come back, because if Bernier does come back this season, unless Mac Black just either A, gets injured, or B, completely, S's the bed, I think
maybe he gets traded, though. Maybe he gets traded,
Mac
too.
Black? Yeah, Mac Black could get traded,
that could be one of those needs a change of scenery type of moves there, where we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
So
and watch he turns into the next Vasi when he changes that scenery. That would be just
with our luck, yeah. He's got the flashes of He has flashes of being like, "Damn, he's good," and then it's like, "Oh, what happened to that?" And then he goes to like
Change the
Toronto and
scenery
like
and
leads him to a cup.
Yeah, seriously.
That's what happens when you have
Out of the
19 years of Brodeur. You know, like you gotta get, you gotta go the other way for a little while there. But no, hopefully Vanacek, man, I'm excited about Vitek.
Yeah, so am I.
Vanacek. I mean, I think he could be a really, really solid addition to the team. If Blackwood, if one thing or another, they're going to push each other. They are definitely going to push each other for playing time. Because Blackwood, it's put up or shut up time. You know,
it is.
Like he's got to really like step it up. We've seen some of the brilliance. What was it, Samu? The immaculate save that we had there that one time. He's made some real humdingers, but then all of a sudden he just goes to sleep. And you're just like, how did he let that in? Like, what's going on? And we all know the defense was soft for a while, but still, that 2-week stretch last season when Nico Dawes came up, it was like, hey, wow, we finally have a goaltender who can come in here and make the saves that we expect a real goaltender to make. It was like every time there was a fast break, it was like, goal. It's a goal. Don't even. Yeah. Nico Dawes made those saves because your defense is going to have breakdowns, and it just felt like whenever there was a breakdown, it was automatically going to be a goal, Yeah. But Nico Dawes for that 2 weeks there, he came in and was like, what? He stopped a 2-on-1? Are you kidding me? What?
I haven't seen this in a long time.
Yeah, it's like, what happened here? I thought that was automatically going to be – I thought that was just pencil it in. Goal. There it is. There's a breakaway. It's going to be a goal, Oh, the Devils need a big save. They just scored one, so we immediately have to give another one up right afterwards. We just scored
wasn't that the MO for a while? Like, we'd score a huge goal, and it'd be like 2 minutes later, we'd give it right back.
Right back.
Listen, this team is like I think that there's not enough room to do any PTOs, right? So unless they do a PTO and they like somebody and they're like, all right, you're in and, whoever's out. So that could be a possibility.
They can still trade. Severson may be on the move. You never know. I mean, listen, if I was another team that was and I had some cap room and I needed a little defensive help, I'd definitely be calling about him.
Yeah, and I don't want to give up on Severson. Like, I don't want people to think that except for Sam, because Sam obviously hates him.
Right.
That we don't like
naturally.
That we don't like Damon Severson. Like I always like him.
He's going to get a raise. Though. You got to think. He's going to get a raise,
but he's not going to get a massive amount of a raise. He's not going to be like
he's what,
high 7s
5 or no, but he'll be over 6, and then you have a Marino who's making 4.4 for the next 5 years straight. Yeah. And don't forget, we re-signed Siegenthaler, and while he's a steal this year, and he's still a steal throughout his contract, but he gets a significant raise after this year. He's I think 1.1 million this year. I got cap friendly up right here. So he is, let me just see, Jonas is 1.125, and then in 23-24, he jumps to 3.4.
But that's not like an insane jump. That's not like he's jumping to like 8 or like 7.5.
Damon is at 4.1 now. You got to think he's going to be in the high 5s at least. Go ahead, Sam. I see you raising your hand.
Don't say anything mean about Damon.
That's fake news. I'm making a statement right now. I spent probably about 3 or 4 Woo reports defending Damon Severson and keeping him on the team.
Okay.
Except when it came to an expansion draft. And you said, let's get rid of him. He's garbage.
No,
put him on the chopping block.
Expose him.
That is also fake news. The point I was trying to make is if you expose him, and with the salary he was making, I didn't think the Kraken would have taken him. They would have taken someone else. But to keep Bastian. But it all worked out in the end. Bastian went over there, played a couple games, and then they threw him away, and then Fitzgerald got him back. We're all happy.
And you gotta imagine too. I mean, you got the Riley Walsh, you got Nemec. Well, they got him on entry level contracts, but Luke is coming sooner than later.
Yeah. By the way, perfect segue because Kevin on YouTube Live just said if McLeod is terminated, who's the most likely to take his spot? And does anyone think Walsh has a chance to make the team or the roster out of camp? I think Walsh has a decent chance to do it, but
Yeah.
defensively, are the core of the team is actually like pretty solid. You look at the right side's pretty damn good right now. You have Hamilton,
With Damon, you got
Severson,
Dougie,
Hamilton,
you got
Severson,
Dougie,
and
David, and
Marino.
Marino. Yeah.
And then you have, depending on what they do at Nemeth, if he's going to be in Utica to start the beginning of the year, or what the heck's going to go on with him. Walsh is, I think he has a great chance to make the team too. But the thing is like, that's what you need on this team. You need that depth. You need that, people pushing for jobs. You don't want anybody
People
to feel
get
like,
hurt.
except for like,
Someone's
people
going to
are
get hurt.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah,
It happens
it's
every
just
year.
the
It
way they
happens
get.
every year.
Every year, someone's going to get. We just hope it's not like a season-ending injury, but
Mhm.
rest assured, someone will get dinged up at some point where they need they're going to miss some games, and that's where you're going to get these kids like we talked about with like the cup of coffee coming up, and let's see how they look in the big time over here, But your defense is looking good now with Siegenthaler lined up there. You got Graves. You got the KG veteran in Brendan Smith, who's going to be playing down there on that bottom line pairing.
Yeah. What's up, Kevin?
I mean, it's looking.
Sorry, Kevin
it's
said
looking
hi.
pretty. What up? What up? It's looking pretty
Yo.
stacked. But one of those guys is going to get hurt at some point. It's just the nature of the beast. It happens every single year. We try to hope it's not for, like we said, like Dougie getting the jaw broken and it's a long-term thing, that really screws things up. But at some point they're going to get dinged up. They're going to need some time off. They're traveling. Let's hope we don't have a case of COVID rip through the team like we've had the past couple
I
years.
wonder if they're going to have that bench, the taxi squad thing again this year. Have they mentioned that at all? Has the NHL even brought that up?
I
I
don't
don't know
know
if they have yet. I think that'll be
You gotta
determined
imagine
if they need it.
the amount of travel that they do, that it's someone is probably going to get sick at some point,
Yeah.
Let's just hope that it's not like 10 guys on the team. They can find it, they can identify it, and they can quarantine said player and not have it roll through the entire team. And with the way Canada is, all these guys have got to be up to date on their vaxes and stuff like that.
Or they're not allowed to go there.
Or not allowed to go up to Canada to play. So, I mean, we'll find out when they do it the first time they go. If there's
hey, we're playing
lingering.
Toronto and there's 5 healthy scratches. What the hell is going on? Why is half the AHL?
We'll find out real quick. Yeah.
Don't jab me, man. Okay, I don't care, dude. That's your prerogative, but now you can't play in Canada.
So we'll find out about that, but that's the main thing you hope for. But you got to think, just with that amount of travel, someone is probably going to get sick at some point. Hopefully it's just one person. Hopefully it's none, but it's the way of the world now.
It's inevitable. It's really inevitable.
Yeah. Not even gonna lie. I mean, at work the other day, I just got the email. You have been directly exposed to someone who's just. I'm like, oh, great. It's gonna happen, especially when I got in my job where I got people coming in and out from the airports, a lot of management teams, a lot of bands, a lot of artists and stuff like that. They're all traveling.
And
you
when you travel, you got to play safe.
Well,
Another good question from James is: do you think that Mercer stays on the wing, or has he moved to third line center? And has he has had success at winger? So yes, on wing he's been great, but with the departure of Pavel Zacha, we do have Hala down there. So I guess he's going to be your third line center. So I don't think you necessarily have to move Mercer to that spot, and you can keep him on the wing. But
he needs to get better at face-offs too. His
does,
face-off record was not very good.
But the good thing is, you have options. So when you have a line, and he used to do this with Zacha a lot when Zacha and Bratt were in the same line. You'd have Heischer take the face-off, but if he got kicked out of the circle, at least you had Zacha to step in. So having that second center on your line is never a bad thing. But I think, keeping him on wing is probably a better idea. Shane also agrees with that. But
I think so too.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of signing Woody. I think who knows what's going to happen with McLeod, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago. We're not going to get into that conversation again, but it's been very quiet, so we don't know if he's going to be on the team or going forward or what the heck's going on with that.
Yeah, we haven't heard.
If he's on the team and everything is okay and everything is fine, that BMW line again with Bash and McLeod and Wood, you would assume would be your fourth line, right?
Mhm.
But that's also a line that doesn't necessarily have to be your fourth line. It's just like putting a number on it to put a number on it. But
it's something I mentioned. I know the other day. Miles Wood. Well, we'll see how he is after that hip injury. But if there's any big boy on the team that's got enough speed to be able to keep up with like a Jack Hughes and a Jesper Bratt, I'm not expecting Miles Wood to pitch in like 30 goals, but he's been in the high teens before. But if you need someone to actually be able to keep,
he's got to be able to finish. He's got to be able to finish.
Oh,
that's the problem. He's got to be able to pass. He's got to be able to finish. He's not crash into the boards of the goaltender.
That's the way he stops. That's the way he stops. He just like pop. But if he could finish,
if he's a finisher, then yeah, like if he could start finding that touch, because you have a great setup man in Hughes. But Hughes, and the thing that sucked about Gaudreau is if Johnny Hockey ended up on the Devils, you had a legitimate scoring threat with Hughes. You had somebody on his wing, because you would assume that's who he'd be paired with. You had somebody on that wing that if Hughes is not setting him up to score, Hughes is going to take the shot and score himself. And that's a dangerous combination.
I think Jackie Boy is going to end up being the scoring threat, and I think Jesper Bratt's going to be your setup man. That's what I think is going to. I think that's going to be your transition this year, and you're going to see Jesper Bratt.
But you don't want Jesper to be. You don't want Hughes to be one-dimensional.
He won't be. I think Jack, you're going to see him scoring a lot more goals this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Jack's just going to be the playmaker. I think he's going to be the scorer as well. I see Jesper Bratt.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with Jack pushing 100 points this year,
That would be fantastic.
Oh, God.
Fantastic.
If you get a whole season of him healthy, that's why,
that's the big thing. We need him to stay healthy.
I'm like, maybe Miles needs to be up there. Got a little protection for Jackie Boy as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got to stay injury-free and on the ice.
That's why,
and I think that'll make a huge difference in our season, obviously, this year.
God, that's why.
I mean, you're gonna have
Kachuk would have been so. Kachuk would have been so nice. For
I know.
Team. He would have been
You're gonna have Palat.
He would have been perfect.
But I think Palat and Nico are gonna make a hell of a second line combo over there. That are just gonna. Yeah, But you never know. We're not coaches. We're not the GMs. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. And
I still think Palat, Nico, and Mercer would be a dangerous line.
Mercer,
because you have
Sharon
three
Govich
guys
as
that
well is showing chemistry with Jackie Boy. He's got a wicked shot.
He does wicked shot. A wicked wrista kid.
Wicked wrista. He's and he's not a fighter, but I mean he's a little bit bigger as well.
Yeah, but
maybe he puts on a little bit of muscle. Do you call up a Nolan Foote, a Chase Stillman, see what they can do?
What's that kid in Russia? Gritsyuk or whatever his name is. No, not. Or is that how you say his name?
I have no idea. I'm just making it up, but go with it. His
name is grits and pancakes. Pancakes and grits.
Oh, sure. I just never seen a grit before. Yeah. What's a grit?
I was way off. It's right there in his briefcase. I mean, that kid he seems like he's a scoring machine in Russia, and I don't know what we have to do to get him to realize, to realize his dream over here in America and want to play for the team. I mean, I would assume like you would want to bring him to Utica to get him used to the North American game for a little bit and all that kind of jazz, because you don't want to have another Gusev on your hands where, he could put up monster numbers over in the KHL and he comes over here and he can't really figure it out.
There's nothing, yeah.
So, I mean, on paper and on ice, the kid looks legit. I mean, he looks legit, silky smooth. You also have
Arseny Gritsyuk. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're
Grits
probably
Uke,
still
and a
butchering
Butt
it.
Uke. A lot of ukes.
A lot of ukes.
Two ukes.
And then we're gonna
Two
get Bob
ukes.
Euchre is gonna be our new MSG guy. So
That would be
that
fantastic.
would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be fun, fantastic. I'll take Bob Euchre no matter
Can't say
what.
goddamn
yes.
on the air. Nah, not like
No
anyone's
one's listening. Who
anyway.
cares?
Oh my god. That's it. That's all we got. It's one goddamn hit. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Major League's a classic. That was one of the best. Whoever casted Uke in that role did an amazing job. Whoever's the casting director for that, kudos to you for that.
They did their job. They did their job in
Yeah.
spades.
Yeah, they really did.
He's gonna need a
but
rock out of his ass to catch that one. He's the only man to
but
throw at
don't
his
forget-
son at a father-son game.
Don't forget, you got Holtzy though. That we'll see where he is. This year. I mean, I don't know if he's going to need another one down there at AHL, but maybe he puts it together. We'll see. And again, the Chase Stillmans, the Nolan Foote. Nolan Foote's been in the minors now and developing for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget.
But that's the thing is like
that was part of the Blake Coleman trade. That was part of the Pickles
know.
trade from years ago.
And people are like,
It's
we don't
wild
want to
now.
give away Blake or Nolan Foote. And it's like, why? Like, he's got the size. He's got a hell of a shot. But is
he the hype? Yeah. Is he the real deal or is he just all hype?
Yeah.
But that's the same thing with Holtz. Is Holtz going to come in and be the real deal, or is he going to be like, oh, that kid can really play, and then he comes up to the NHL and he does what he did last year, and he looks lost.
Not much.
Mm-hmm.
Because if
and
he
another
turns
one
into the real
too.
deal,
Don't forget about Sam Wu's new favorite player, Fabian Zetterlund, as well. He really turned some heads last year, and he might be one as well. Pushing for one of those top 6 roles. We'll see how it turns out. But I believe he was almost a point a game player in the AHL, or close to. Sam Wu will have to correct me on the
and that dude is a
totals
beast.
on that.
He is
He
an
is a
absolute
beast.
monster.
I think someone had suggested that he could bench press our entire podcast, Fabian Zetterlund. I believe
He probably
a week or
could.
so ago. So yeah,
I
might
think the clef on his
that might
chin
be
has
someone.
a clef. You know?
that might be someone as well that might be rolling out there with Jackie Boy and Jesper.
Well, I think this training camp because Kyle just brought up a great point. Sharangovich, Hughes, Mercer, line 1. Right? These are just hypothetical lines, but this is a great kind of setup for the next question. Palat, Heischer, Bratt, second line. Janssen, Hala, Tatar on your third line. Wood, McLeod, Bastion on your fourth line. He said, do we trade Janssen or Johnson, whatever, and or Tatar for Cap?
Where's Zetterlund there?
And bring up some of the young people. But he's right though. Right now, on paper, all the lines are filled, and that's not including
On
Holtz.
paper.
Holtz. On paper, Holtz is not even in that. Neither is Zetterlund.
Right. Neither is a Chase Stillman. Neither is a Nolan Foote.
Pennywise.
Neither is a Graham Clark.
Yeah.
It's
Tice Thompson as well. That's a kid who had he had a number of games last year before he popped his shoulder. Is he going to be another one to get a chance? I really think Zetterlund's going to get a hard look though after that run that he had at the end of the season. He looked impressive.
It's nice knowing that we have all these we have all these good prospects, and we have all this youth that we're getting ready to bring up. Like there's just it's not like the team is just a skeleton anymore. We're setting up a team that's going to have a lot of depth, not only here but down in Albany. That's how tired I am. Reverting back to the old days. Utica.
The old River Rats.
Well, but actually, that kind of slip of the tongue there. It's if you think about it, the last time, when the Devils won the Cup, Albany was a killer team as well. So it's always good to have that. You want the youth that is down there to learn winning ways and not just be cannon fodder for the other teams. They're learning to win in Utica. They come up with a winning mentality to New Jersey, and that's going to be a big help. Boquist, But
he's another one. This is
having
a
this-
make or break year for him.
But also having this depth, for these, for the non-Jack Hughes and Nikos, for all those other guys, having all this depth where we may have a lot of bubble players, it could be like, well, if you don't perform here, someone is ready to take your spot from down in Utica, pull them up, ship you down. So it's that there's a kind of like a fire under everyone's ass at the same time, knowing that, well, got a lot of guys that are down in Utica that if I don't perform day in and day out, or if I go on a little bit of a slide, I could be bumped back down to the AHL, which is
internal competition.
And that's what you want.
And that's what you want.
Like,
you want people pushing for their spot.
Exactly.
You don't want them being all
that
comfy.
Competition. No.
Yeah.
Comfy breeds complacency. There can't be any complacency. Like, these guys are going to have to prove it day in and day out, because there's going to be at least two other guys more than willing to be jumping into that role to push a little bit harder. So I feel like we're in a very good spot right now. So to the point where we're going to have, we'll hopefully have two playoff teams in the organization this year. Or at least pushing for a playoff team at the NHL. But at the AHL level, Utica should be in the playoffs again.
Should be,
but the potential's there to have two playoff teams in the organization, which is what you want.
100% agreed.
Competition.
Yeah.
And seriously, looking at the roster, I was trying to think about, like, who you said it, Shorts Guy, like some of the guys that are automatic safe, right? Heischer, Hughes.
Yeah.
You would figure Palat.
Yeah.
Fabian Zetterlund as Pennywise the Clown. Just waiting in the sewers to body check you straight to hell.
Yeah.
Then you get a red balloon.
I'm trying
afterwards.
to think of a Brat. Brat would be the other automatic that's not going anywhere, right? Mercer, you would think. He had a great rookie season, so if he continues with that, if he builds on that, then you think he's not going anywhere. But
what happens? What happens if Jesper Bratt has like a Captain Insano season, and you don't think you could re-sign him then for just about like $6 million or so?
Who?
Jesper Bratt.
Well, see, that's the thing, is because they have so much money coming off the books next year. If you sign him next year and he does have another 70-plus point season, you sign him for 6.5, and I think you'd be fine. And that's not going to kill you cap-wise. You know what I mean? So,
okay.
I don't know. There's going to be a lot of room. There's going to be a lot of room for movement, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunity for some of these young guys. But camp is going to be fun, and this is why I said before, I don't think they're going to have any PTOs this year. I don't think they need to. I don't think they need to have any PTOs this year. They don't need a Jimmy Vesey this year.
No.
Which, by the way, I think he's going back to the old Rangers.
Yeah,
I wonder if what's his name. I wonder if once his name made another video. He was like, "Oh, like my movie career, your playing career has faded."
He's going to replace Kevin Rooney. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. But anyways, I don't think we need anybody to come in, do a little PTO, and sign for a cheapo deal. I think that there's enough guys that are in the AHL level that should make the jump, or at least push for a spot on the big club. And I don't know. I think it's going to be super interesting when camp rolls around, like what's going to shake out of it. Because Sharon Govich, like, I love him, and I feel like he's got massive potential, but he starts so slow. And how patient are they going to be with him? Or is it going to be like, all right, you'll score 20-plus goals, but you're not going to start scoring until December. We'll be okay. Or is it going to be like, no, like you need to start putting it together right away. So,
well, they're gonna be on the lookout, because they're gonna say, like, look what happened to Pavel Zacha.
Yeah.
So
look what we did with his sorry ass, and they like point to a poster of him on the Bruins.
It's up in Boston, but it's the same thing though. He's got to perform up there as well, and I think after this year, I think people are really going to see. I mean, you hear about it, you hear all the analysis, if you're watching NHL Network and everything like that, everyone's saying the same thing. The Devils have put together themselves quite a team over there. That's going to be a promising, like we're really at that point. Like Short Sky was just saying, we have all the depth now.
Yeah.
We have all these guys that we've been talking about for all these years. Like, oh, they're coming. Oh, they're developing. Blah, 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 blah.
They're here.
Well, now they're all developed. They're here. And they're going to be pushing each other to play. And that competition.
You want that.
They're going to be hungry.
Yep.
Hungry. Yeah.
They're going to want to eat. They're going to get some jambalaya. They're going to eat.
That's right. That's right. Who wouldn't want to play with Jack Hughes or Nico Hischier as their center?
Yeah.
If you're a young kid coming up. That would excite the hell out of me.
Yeah. Kyle just said camp will be the most competitive it has been in a very long time, and that's damn sure.
Oh, good.
And that's very exciting to think about.
Very.
Yeah. Even the Damon Seversons and the Ryan Graves right now, they're on the last year of their contracts. Even if they're not going to re-sign, let me tell you, they're going to be playing their heart out because they're going to be trying to sign a monster contract next year. Yeah. If it's not with us, it's going to be somewhere else. They're going to be trying to make a huge. And Damon had his best year of his career. Mm-hmm. So can he top that again this year? He's going to be what, 28 or 29? I have to look at Cap Friendly again. I don't remember how old he's going to be. They're like a year apart. Where is come on. Move. What are they? 27 and 28. Graves is 27 and Damon is 28.
Okay.
They're going to be looking for a long-term contract, up in that $5-6 million range per. Both of them.
Hey,
so
go and show me.
They're going to be playing their hearts out. Yeah, they're going to be playing their hearts out. If not for us in the long term, for us in the short term, so they can make their own long term, better. And if they don't end up with us, so be it, and we wish them the best. But they're going to be those two guys are going to be hustling. Yeah, they're going to be taking care of business this year.
I wonder if Fitzy was sitting there behind the scenes trying to make any moves of trying to unload Tatar, trying to unload Janssen, because you think
Janssen's
about
got the no trade. He's got the no movement, no trade thing, so he's a little bit more difficult.
Ew,
but
gross.
Tatar, yes. I think Damon and Graves, I'm sure he's probably taking calls on, and especially we'll see after camp. We'll see how if Ball comes along, because I think someone had mentioned it in one of the chats. I don't know if it was Facebook Live, what up, YouTube Live, or Twitter, what's up, everybody. But Kevin Ball can be that answer to Ryan Graves if he's not going to be a long-term solution on the team. We got to find out, can Kevin Ball step into that role? We know he's got the size, we know he has the potential, he's got the talent, but can he put it all together at that elite NHL level and be that monster blocking shots the way Ryan Graves has been throughout his career so far with Colorado, and then, of course, with us here on the Devils.
Yeah.
There's hope.
There is hope.
That's the big
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
A lot of hope, a lot of promise.
My only hope. Sam Wu, you love Fabian Zetterlund, right?
Yes, I do. I think they got a lot of edge guys that play with an edge, like Zetterlund. They got Miles Wood back if he's healthy. Eric Howla, and also Bastian as well. Think of the power play, having both Miles Wood and Bastian on two separate.
In front of that net. Mm-hmm.
Yep, PP1 and PP2. I think that was something that was one of the bright spots last season was Nathan Bastian. Didn't start off with the team, but we talked about the no fun zone and screening the goaltender and being disruptive. Bastian did it very well, and he can make a decent living just doing that. Yeah, and so could Miles Wood.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our non-New Brunswick sponsored final thoughts. Oh man. Well, I'll lead us off, boys. I'm gonna just say this. My final thought is during the summertime, during this month, there's gonna be days where I'm here. There's gonna be days where I'm not here. I will say that being checking in on the chatter that you guys have every time you go on to Devils After Dark, going on the Woo Report, on some of our other podcasts, our sister podcasts that we have there. It's really fun to watch all this. It's fun to see the community, like the enthusiasm, not just with all of us, but with everybody else out there. Like it seems like the team is turning a corner. At least like the fan base seems like it's turning a corner. I could just be blind that it's just happening cyclically every year. Like this year, this time of year, we're all like, yeah, hey, we're going to be great. And then like we take a giant nosedive. But right now, embrace the enthusiasm. I know there's a few people that were saying can't be enthusiastic because I'm nervous to do so. Be enthusiastic. The season is only 2.5 months away. Not even like a month
Not
and a
even
half
close.
away.
Yeah, we're close.
So we're getting close.
We're getting there.
So
Oh no, wait, what was it? October
feel it.
13th is
Feel it.
the day, right?
Yep.
October 13th
Thursday.
is that.
The Thursday.
Yeah.
Devils Flyers.
Starting on the 13th. Ooh, ominous. So be
Mhm.
excited. Be enthusiastic. It's okay. Let yourself go.
Let yourself go. Go get a sub. A couple
Go
bags
get-
of chips. Yeah.
Just get a big old Wawa iced tea or a Turkey Hill iced tea. Sit back. Enjoy.
Oh man.
All right,
my
I'll go.
my final thought is just. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Shorts Guy.
No, you start. I'll finish after you.
I was just gonna say that my final thought is just the idea of what Shorts Guy was talking about before. The internal competition. That is, these guys are going to be pushing each other, and you think about, talking about people who are complacent. Not to knock them or anything like that, but last year, someone like PK, he knew he wasn't going anywhere. He knew we needed that $9 million contract, to get us to the bottom floor and everything like that. And he just kind of sat there in that third line, and some days were good, other days, not so much.
Other days were
Some other
awfully
guys,
slewy, very slewy. You know?
Yeah. There were some days that weren't so good, Again, not who he was when he was on Montreal and in his early days in Nashville. But those type of things are now going to be in the past. Janssen, Tatar, these guys are that went to sleep a while. The Zakas, they're going to get shipped out. So I'm just all about that internal competition. I think my computer is for me right now, so I'm not sure I'm going a little haywire.
Yeah.
So, yay, Spectrum! Yay, thank you. But yeah, I'll just say that internal competition really excites me.
Similar to you, just the amount of depth that we're going to have leading to that internal competition. Right now, it feels promising. It feels so promising. Having a successful AHL team is going to breed success eventually at the NHL level, and knowing that, for fear of the potential of injuries, which you always get injuries, but being able to if a guy goes down, we have another guy down below that we can slot right in. It kind of gives you that little bit of insurance going, okay, well, we can fill a spot if there's a need, if for some reason an injury arises, what have you. We have a way to fill that in without having to worry about it or panic, because our team's been thin, with having just prospects to kind of fill in. But our team is no longer that thin. We have depth. We have depth at the NHL and AHL level. So that is my final thought about how promising this amount of depth is that we have with our team. And that it will bode well, especially as a long season grinds on, and just it's going to be good and it's going to be promising, and I have a lot of hope there and a lot of promise as far as I'm concerned.
My last thought. Congratulations to Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment for spending all the way to the ceiling for the first time in a very long time, or first time ever. You know what? I never thought this day would happen. And the way Tom Fitzgerald and his staff, whoever's the captologist, when you look at these contracts, there's a lot of guys on contract years. So if it doesn't pan out this season, you're not stuck with an albatross-like contract that Johnny Gaudreau got, or even Matthew Tkachuk got. If it didn't pan out, you can always reload going into next year. And the Devils should get a lot of credit for doing that, even though they were 37 whatever points out of a playoff spot. They saw the vision of it, and they kept spending. And I think that's a good thing. And they got rid of some players that didn't quite develop. A lot of Ray Shiro's first-round picks. But Fitzy, this is his team right now. We haven't seen the fruits of his labor with the picks that he's made. But so far, the ones that he's made have been fantastic so far, like Dawson Mercer. I would even put Nico Dawes there, being thrown in the fire so early and being composed. But he's going to get a couple years to develop properly in the AHL level. And you never know. He could be a dark horse one day. But I think Mac Black and Vanacek are going to surprise a lot of people. That's my prediction. But, well, want to thank all those listening, watching. Going to drop the podcast at midnight. Want to thank all those that download this fine podcast, as we're still on a torrid pace. I sent you guys the numbers.
Record setting.
Early this morning, and can't thank you enough making us part of your morning and afternoon commute. It doesn't stop here. We've got State of the Fan address on Wednesday, Woo Report, possibly a Devils After Dark. You never know. That may pop up anytime soon. Keep it here. We got a lot of things planned for next season. Keep it here. And that's it. So till next time, let's go Devils.